80% of Americans are not doing this. Welcome back to Bold Faith Moves, where we empower women to own their worth and get bold in faith, life, and business. If you've ever felt unworthy or stuck, this is your space to break free, unlock your potential, and build lasting habits for more energy, joy, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Jessie Mershon, speaker, certified fitness and mindset coach, wife, and mama for. And today we are talking about what 80% of Americans are not doing so that we can get in the 20% of Americans who are doing it. Because as moms, we get to change this number. So what are 80% of Americans not doing? 80% of Americans are not hitting the daily recommended activity for the week. And what does that look like? The CDC recommends that you get in 150 minutes of low intensity activity or 75 minutes of a high intense activity. So why are 80% of Americans not doing that? Those numbers aren't crazy. They're not asking you to be in a gym for hours every single day and giving your life away to working out. But why is the number so high of people not doing it? Because we live behind two excuses. Number one, it's that we don't have money. And number two, it's that we don't have time. And I lived behind those excuses for a very long time as well. When I joined my very first boot camp 10 years ago, it was at a time where I did not have extra money. I was really struggling financially, but I knew that I needed to change. I knew that my mental health, my physical health, that my life was just a mess and I needed change. So I put it on a credit card and I started my first boot camp and invested in myself. I had failed so many times before this. So if you're listening right now and you have done the diet and you've gotten the gym pass and you've signed up for the classes and you've lost the weight and you've gained it back, then remember that it's okay. So has the rest of the world. You are not alone in this journey. But what happens is we so often hide behind the excuses of not having time and not having money, when in reality, I don't think it really has to do with money or time. It has to do with learning that you are worthy of creating time and you are worthy of investing in yourself. Because for so many years, you have invested all of your time and all of your money into your family, into your job, into your community, into your churches, and you put yourself on the back burner. We don't say that we have time when in reality, we have 24 hours in a day and we definitely do have time. Yes, there's going to be some crazy busy days that you don't have time, but for the most part, every single person has a half an hour that they can get in movement, whether it's a walk or it's a strength training day. Again, CDC is not asking you to do a ton. They're saying 150 minutes for out of 7 days. That is a lot of time with very little activity, and 80% of Americans aren't doing it. So here we are going to talk about how to change that. How can we get in the 20% and not only get in the 20%, but get our families in the 20% and start changing that number of more people hitting their daily activity intake. Don't go all crazy and feel like you have to be working out every single day of the week. And a high intensity workout could be 2 strength training days inside your home for a half an hour each time. And bam, you are literally almost at your 75 minutes. If not, if you do a 40-minute and 40-minute, you're there, you're done. And that's all you needed. Or it's going for a walk, going for a run, cycling, and you can be cycling at a slow speed. It doesn't matter how fast you're going. So it's really just making little changes. What I would recommend doing is doing a couple of these steps to really help you not only start to get in that 20%, but to stay in that 20%. And like I said, bring your family with you. So first, you need to write down who is the version of yourself that you really love and how does she feel in her skin. I want you to think about when you look in the mirror, when you get ready to go out with your husband, when you are shopping, how do you feel? How is your energy? How is your skin? How is your nails? How is your smile? So often we are not smiling. If you look around in public, we are not smiling. And I truly believe it's because we're living from a place of burnout, exhaustion, and we aren't feeling like we are enough. But I want you to take time to do this first task and write down who is that version of you that you truly, truly love. Think about it. And it should be fun as you're creating her because the reality is you get to create her. And if you're not careful, you will have this version of yourself in your head who can't stick to a nutrition plan, who doesn't have time to work out, who's a bad mom, who is always busy, who is always tired, who is always exhausted. And who wants to live like that and have that be your version of yourself? But what if you switched that and you put it on paper? The reason I want you to put it on paper is and not just think about it is you have to write it down and then you have to read it every single day because what you are putting into your mind every single day plays a role in who you're becoming every single day. And so you can't just think about it one day and expect it to happen. But when you're reading on paper that version of yourself you really freaking love, you read it every single morning and you start to show up differently because you see you're worthy, you see you're capable, and you see where you're headed, and it makes you excited. It's not just about the fitness journey or grabbing a healthy meal, but it makes you excited to have more energy, to have better sleep, to have a more fulfilled life. So you'll write that down, and then I want you to start reading it every single day. The second thing I want you to do is figure out in your schedule, and if you need to, and you're like, no, Jessie, I really have no time, then I want you to sit down and take one day where you write down literally every single thing you do all day, even going to the bathroom, sitting down to eat lunch, sitting down to watch TV. I can 100% guarantee you, you have 30 minutes of your day that you are scrolling or you are on Amazon or you are shopping or you are sitting in front of a TV that you could be getting in movement. Maybe it's you're laying in bed and keep turning off your alarm clock for an hour. Figure out where that half an hour is. If you can't get to the gym, how awesome is it that we now have so many amazing programs that you can do right at home? As women, as we get older, we are losing muscle. So you should at least be prioritizing 2 strength training days. But here's what I want you to start with. 1 strength training day. Start with that and then move yourself forward to 2. You'll start to see the benefits after 21 days. So yes, getting up in the morning might suck at first, but when you get up in the morning, remember that you're building the version of yourself you love. Don't just do it for a week and be like, this sucks and give up, but do it for 21 days. That's how a habit starts to form. The consistency and the discipline start to form. And then all of a sudden you're seeing this version of yourself that is committed, that is getting out of bed, that is purposeful, that is worthy, that is feeling good, that does have more energy. And that version of yourself is someone that you're really going to start to love. We have to keep the commitments to ourselves in order to build the confidence, in order to build how we feel about ourselves, because so often we are stuck in all of the times we failed instead of where we are headed. So number 1, you're writing down all the things about the version of yourself you really love. Number 2, and you're going to start reading it every day. Number 2, you're going to think about when you can get in movement and really look at your schedule. And you're going to pick just 1 day starting off. And then the next week, add in another day. Or if you end up having more time that week, add in another day. But then stay consistent with 1 or 2 days until it really feels like a habit. And then you're going to go add in more time. And then ask yourself when it comes to money, where are you investing money? Where can you pull back and say, okay, if I'm spending money here, here, and here, look at your budget and ask yourself, what's the number 1 priority to you? Because over everything else, your kids included, they would rather have a mom that's here for years than a mom who's not, because she poured everything they had to them, but stopped taking care of herself. The truth is, if 80% of Americans aren't getting in the average activity, you are upping your chances of chronic disease. You are lowering your energy. It's affecting your mental health. It's affecting your physical health. It's affecting your sleep. Why do you want to do that to yourself? You don't. But for so many years, we had no one guiding us that taking care of ourselves is a priority, that being a mom is amazing, but that you matter in motherhood too, and that you are still a person, and that your job matters, and your job is important, but you matter too, and you are still a person, and your marriage matters, but you have to first take care of yourself in order to go into your day, in order to go into your relationships, and to go into your priorities as the strongest, best version of yourself. So start small. 8 out of 10 Americans are not getting in the right amount of activity. So right now, if you are feeling like you're the only one, you're not. You have a lot of friends on your side. The people that are getting in the right amount of activity are a very low number, 2 out of 10. but together we can switch that. Together we can get bold. And this community of moms is here for a reason. We are here to take action. We are here to be different than the average American. And we are here to help guide other people on how to feel good and take care of themselves and their families so that they can go pour into communities and churches and all of the things as your best self. You have it in you. Don't allow money and time to be the two things that hold you back. Be different than the average American. Be different than the 80%. You're here for a reason. And if you're needing extra help, we just kicked off my very first boot camp and it is so good. All the girls are so excited. I'm so proud of them. One of the biggest things I'm hearing is, man, I was so low in my protein intake. And that's most likely what you're going to find is it's not that you're probably under eating and not even overeating. You're probably not eating enough of the right foods. You don't have to be on a diet. You can still enjoy things. I ate 4 cookies one day, logged it in my app, and I still hit all of my macros for the day. And I think that's why I love learning about this because I'm seeing that you can still enjoy food and not have it be like this crazy thing that you have to be all in and eating clean every single day. But the more you focus on whole foods, the better. And the more that you are dedicated to how you want to feel, the better. And I believe in you. So if you are needing extra help and you are ready to get rid of the excuse of, I have no time and I have no money, then you need to reach out to me. Make sure to DM me boot camp. And I will get you on the wait list for my next boot camp that will be kicking off in about 2 weeks because I don't want you to have 2025 be a year of being stuck. I want you to walk into 2025 knowing that you are the 20% of Americans that is different, that activity matters, that you matter, that you are worthy, that you are capable, and that you are getting bold. You are here for a reason. And I am so thankful that you are tuning in and part of our community, but I want you to be taking action. So make sure after you write down the version of yourself that you really love on paper, send me that in a DM so that I can read it and see it and cheer you on. And then let's start taking action together. I hope you have an amazing week. And remember that you are part of this 20% starting today when you listen to this podcast. Even if you were in the 80%, starting today, it's going to change. And leading into 2025, it's going to be different for you. I hope you have an amazing week. And I can't wait to read about the version of yourself you really freaking love.